Hello, guys. Let's wait a couple of minutes until we have like more people signing in. Thank you for joining tonight on Trading Psychology. How was your trading day today? The chat is open, and I've been muting some of the people, just in case you don't have any noise in the background for the other members. But feel free to unmute yourself and talk, please. Can you hear me okay, guys? Someone confirm on the chat that you can audio, it's okay. Checking audio. Yes. Perfect. Thank you, Maria. Wanted to make sure. How was your trading today, Mario? What else do we got here? Ryan Cookies, Scotty Tim. Did you swing those Celsius, or did you just get out of the position? I thought the chart for that one was pretty good afterwards. I mean, I was watching some names for get out of the position. Okay, we'll go through. The idea today is to talk about a little bit about the psychology, and then we'll talk about some of the traits today that happen that all the analysts call and you know see where was the entries, where was the exits, what happened. Some of them we all got different. I got my Apple one that I call it a little early, and it ended up working at the end of the day. So, but we got stopped out, and then there was the possibility of re-entry. So we'll talk about how do we deal with that, how do we do it, if we go ahead and do it or not, and how to trade, how to make trading, you know, relax and experience and joyful, not something that is going to be a stressful sort of an experience, or we don't want to have a gambling experience either. So that's something that we need to work on it, and I would like to talk about that. Like, everyone have a different experience why we're in trading, and the the backgrounds that we have on why we are in trading. And some people need to make money, some people like to relax and just spending some spare time. Other, it's doesn't matter what situation you are. The idea is how do we think while we're trading? How do we manage our feelings while we're trading? So that's part of what I would like to talk here. And please feel free to talk or share anything. No, just you don't know how to swing yet. Okay, perfect, Mario. Exactly, I'm trying to identify those. Okay. Tim, I feel like my best highest probability trades are really simple scalps at opening range breakout. It's that common. Flag trading gets harder after 10 a.m. Oh, you see, Tim, for me, it's the other way around. For me, after 10:30, it's when I find it to be easier. And I try to avoid trading the first half hour because if I'm not a scalper, I mean, if I'm not gonna scalp something, I like to wait for the move to happen, and then I can enter and see if we have a. I like to draw trends, and the trends are gonna help me decide where we're gonna go, if you're gonna go up or down. So when we open, we get a lot of fake outs, and we have these candles going up and down, and we have no really. It's not really certain where it's gonna go. So it's we can talk about that. That's really interesting because it's it's different for everyone. But I like my experience. I used to trade at open, right at open, and it wasn't as successful as I am right now when I wait a little longer for the second leg of the play and I wait for trends to break. And I'll go in my charts on how I like to do that and how I find not only to be more successful, but the other thing that I found to be is more relaxed because I don't have the pressure that I jumped into let's say Tesla calls today and it went down and now I'm negative right away in the first 20 minutes of the day. So if I took that out of my emotions, now I have the time to see where the trading goes and wait uh, until I see a trend. Husky, not that much as before. Like if I see something happening, what I do sometimes is if it all depends if the trade that I'm watching it's at my levels on the pre-market, and we'll go to go some examples of that. But mostly, if I'm not certain, I mean, if the a price action is not at one of my levels of support or resistance, I don't like to jump because I've been faked out too much times and I'd rather wait for the second entry. And the second entry gives me the certainty that I can go heavier without the risk of not knowing where it goes. And well, I'll show you in, I think Tesla today was a perfect example of that. So let's start with the lecture. The lecture is going to go mostly on our feelings and how do we mix it with trading. And then we can go to actually when we trade like today trades, what are how we manage emotions depending where the price action is and what things we need to avoid based on the experience that I gather on the years that I traded and all the things that I've read and how my experience has changed on being more relaxed on trading and separating feelings and emotions out of the trading. So the first thing for anyone who is new here that I always like to talk when we do trading psychology is this. For example, professional tennis players, when they want to play in a championship, they the championship tour gives around 6 to 8 hours a day in 6 days a week. That's how much they train before going into a game. When you talk about top amateur, who is just starting up to give the most hours a day to practice and their physical prowess, which is around 8 to 12 hours per day. So we're talking about, I wanna compare us day traders with some different, professions. So these guys train 6 to 8 hours to play sometimes a game that it lasts 2 hours. How does the sim pilots train? So they have a maximum of 24 hours of training in a full flight simulator representing a class of depending on the airplane for the rating sought may be credited toward the flight time requirements of 1,500 hours total time as a pilot. So you want to be a pilot, you have to go to the sim for at least 1,500 hours with a maximum of 24 hours of training in a full flight simulator representing the class of the airplane that you want to train. So you probably know where I want to get with this. Conor McGregor, MMA fighter. How many like hours per day does he trains to be a top fighter? He trains 10 hours a day. So LeBron James, he dedicate like probably before he dedicated more, but now he dedicates 3 to 4 hours to his training, uh, just to play sometimes, a couple of hours on a weekend. So let me ask you this. How many of you, we don't have a huge class today, we're 16, but how many of you actually have trained on the paper trading enough before going into real life and try to, you know, expose your money to the market? Why am I asking this? Because sometimes we think that it's going to be easier to trade and learn while we're trading with real money. But the thing that we have is, while we trade with real money, doesn't matter how much is the amount, emotions get involved, right? As soon as we click buy. And that we're not aware that we're doing that. And that's where it's key, if there's anyone new here, to train, even if you're not new. Like sometimes I'll go back to paper trading because I like to do some strangles or straddles, or I want to see how they're working, and if the type of contracts that I'm choosing are right or wrong. And I like to see how my position reacts before getting into it. One of the ways that I've learned how to sell contracts or sell puts or buy puts, depending on the position that I had, is I went to my paper trading, and I only had one position. I bought 100 shares of Apple, and I sold calls against it, and I saw how it reacted. Then I bought calls and saw how it reacted. Then I sold puts, and then I bought puts. And you see how each position reacts depending on the price action. While you exhaust this training, then you have sort of the experience that you need to go into the market and then risk your money. Doesn't matter if it's $30. Remember, every time that you don't need to risk $1,000. It could be just a $30, but then is how many times do you lose $30 in a month, and then in a year, plus the commissions, and how much that adds up that you're losing trying to learn, when you can do it on a paper trade and then do it in real time. So that's something that I just wanted to, make you aware that you got to be very careful with it. And that's you. You're the only person that knows if you're completely ready to go into the market. It's you. Key things that we are always going to talk about psychology and trading psychology is, how do we manage our emotions? Do we maintain the discipline that we need to? Are we disciplined enough to be a trader? I think there are some people that we have met throughout all the years that we've been doing this, that they're not fit to be traders. Sometimes we find people that are more gamblers. Sometimes we have people that are too emotional to deal with the stress that is inherent with trading. So are you equipped to be a trader and have, a stomach that you get into a position and you're going to be red for a couple of minutes or for a couple of days, and then the trade is going to work? Or are you trained to be prepared for this? Have you know how to develop a trading plan? Remember, our sort of motto is, do you develop a plan and then you trade your plan? We don't improvise. We try not to improvise. We try not to trade and just leave it there to see what happened. We don't hope trade. We try to set a plan and then try to execute it. And this way we're gonna manage our gains and our losses. And then we're gonna know on the loss side, how much are we losing, and we can manage how much I'm willing to lose in a certain week, in a certain day, in a certain trade. But if we don't know where to get in, where to get out, well, it's really hard to really know what we're doing. So that's really careful that we have to understand the market behavior. Sometimes we see something just jumping, and doesn't mean that you need to chase it. It doesn't mean that you need to jump, back at it. You need to be very, very disciplined and see where your entries are, where your exits are, why the market is moving the way it is. If you're looking only to Tesla and you see the Qs dropping and you want to buy calls, are you sure that you want to buy calls, or why are you buying calls on Tesla if the Qs or the NQ is dropping? That it's fixed to technology most of the time. Do you have a specific news? Do you have something that you know about the market, about the specific name that the market doesn't know? Things that we have to work on it. We have to overcome biases. Sometimes you'll think that it's going to come down, and hey, it went up, and that's what it is. You lose, and then we close that red trade, and we move on to the next one. And remember, the idea is that at the end of the month, at the end of the week, the average of trades that we do, they are more green than red, but we're always going to have red, always, everyone. And then, are you cultivating a long-term perspective? Are you just scalping right now, or are you really trading towards making your port bigger, and then changing the techniques that we have while you become an investor more than just a scalper, etc., etc. So it's everyone here already know about this, and you know how to do all of this? High probability trades are really simple scalps at opening ranges. So dividend trade at opens, lower movers, and swing traders are helping me build more confidence on my trades. Yeah. And that's perfectly okay. You don't need to. What Rafael is saying, guys, is that slower movers and swing trades are helping him build his more confidence on his trades. And that's perfectly fine. Like, some people, if you see flips buying SPX at the end of the day, and he buys 50 contracts of SPX, that doesn't mean that you need to buy them, guys, because you might not react the same way. Your internet might not be as fast as flips, or maybe you're not watching what he's watching, and you have a little delay. But you can always buy something. You can buy a couple of contracts of SPY, and then try to grasp a little bite of that big pizza. You don't try to grab the whole pizza. With a little bite, a little slice, we're fine. We're good. Remember, everything adds up. But we need to be very, very careful. We need very mindful of what our weaknesses are while we're trading. So this is part of the normal reactions that we have when we trade. We become doubtful because we lose a couple of times. If we are in a day, my port is $1,000 and I lose 150, $200. I start to doubt myself. Am I watching correctly? Am I doing this fine? Should I enter here? Should I enter here? You just start to questioning yourself. Then, or the other thing is that FOMO, you see Flips making money, you see River making money, you see Eva making money, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I need to take a trade. Because I have these $1,000 that I haven't wasted, and I still have them here. What I want to take, and you start seeing things where they're seeing opportunities where they really don't exist. So we have to be very careful with that. That's why where the discipline needs to be spot on. Anxiety, well, I have $1,000 port and I grab $800 of SPX at the last 2 minutes of the day. Of course, it's gonna give you anxiety. You're insane. You're setting yourself for failure. You're setting up yourself for failure in that. You got to be very careful. You can take a $40 contract, $30 contract, but we got some people here that they have taken full ported at the last 3 minutes of the day on a out of the money SPX. Did they make it? No, they lost the whole thing. So it gives you anxiety. Greed, yeah. We're never gonna grab the 100% move, guys. Remember, with a slice of the pizza, we should be fine. Sometimes we get lucky and we can grab half pizza. We get 3/4 of the pizza. That's amazing. That's incredible. But remember, if a trade goes between 10% and 30%, that's a great trade. depending on how much you have. Imagine that you have $100,000 and then you take 30%. That's a great trade. But if you have 1,000, it's a little bit harder to have that, 30%. So if you see 10%, you see 15%, remember, you have to secure profits in order to be successful. Sometimes and I suffer of this when I begin. I saw my trade go green. I got excited. I never took profits because I dreamed and I hoped that the thing was going to go higher, and then the thing went down, and I ended up getting out, red. I'm like, why everyone is taking profits and I'm red? Because I was too slow. I was greedy. I wanted to have more, more, more. And then I learned that adding up, smaller pieces, it's where the magic happens. Oh, yeah, you will see me. I always leave a runner just to, for fun to go 500, 400 or whatever, but that's a runner. My main trade happened long before that one. Like more like flips, you see flips trading and the thing goes, 30%, 40%. He takes like 70% out of your position. And then you can leave what you can play around with whatever it's left because it's already paid off. But you got to be very careful. Fear, well, we have fear of what we are not managing well, or if we overexpose ourselves. I don't like to trade with that. I hate to trade with fear. I hate to trade, I don't do swing trades that are not gonna let me sleep well in the morning. I did all of this. And one thing, guys, don't get me wrong. I suffer from all of this, and I did all of them. And with a little more experience and more maturity, I've learned how to, sort of overcome most of this. Doesn't mean that sometimes I get, I have some overconfidence. Absolutely. Sometimes I get FOMO. Yeah, when you see those, things like, I don't know, SMCI going, parabolic, and you're like, oh, damn it, I missed it. Should I buy one contract? You'll see if I can just ride a little bit. It happens. Sometimes it's okay to do it, but everything is okay while you are controlling what you're doing and you're exposed and you're ready to either win or lose whatever amount you're choosing to do. So are we clear here? Are we agree that we have all suffered from this, right? Is anyone suffering more right now for this and are having trouble with this? If you are, it is okay. We have all, been here. The only thing that you need to do is if you keep on doing the same thing all the time and, expect a different outcome, that's insanity. So if you still doing the same thing every day and you are expecting a different outcome, we need to change. There are things that we need to change. And that's where, every analyst is open for DMs. And even sometimes when you just express something on the trade floor, sometimes, not all the time, we got people that can, say things that are very coherent and very nice, and you can learn from them. Don't get me wrong, trade floor it's very fun, but you got to be careful with some people joking around, some people having fun. So don't believe everything that you read on the trade floor. Just be aware. On to the next.
Yo, Empanada.
What's up, Norton?
So it's pretty much if there's no pain, there's no gain.
Absolutely, man. But when we inflict pain in ourselves while we're trading, it's because we are prepared to suffer that certain amount of pain. We don't go to unexpected, measures of pain. So when you get out of this thrill ride of being and I have to choose my words carefully here, but remember, guys, you're choosing to do one of the things that is the most difficult on a derivative product out of the financial scope. Options is one of the riskier one of the whole financial spectrum. So first of all, this is like you're learning to drive and you get into a F1. So you got to be aware of that. And options are not 3D. Options are 4D. They are, they have all these factors around them that they are like a freaking atom, and the atom has, so many things that affect them that it's really hard. But and it is normal to have, all these fears and optimism and desperation and everything. But once you know what you're doing and control your, a little bit of the definitions of the tools that we're using and all of that, it becomes easier and it becomes a great investing tool. This is the normal thrill that we have, guys, as a traders. We have optimism comes we're starting something that might be the change of our lives. We got some excitement, we have some thrill, then we have some big gains because we see that we traded Tesla on the way down and we made $1,000 out of 3 contracts. And how the hell did I make $3,000 in 20 minutes or 40 minutes? Jesus Christ. Then we have anxiety because we overexpose ourselves. We don't know how to use all the tools. We have no clue what the Greeks are. We have no clue about how to size our position sizing. And then we got some denial. No, I know what I'm doing. I have no worry. I know I'm stronger than this. I'm more intelligent and smarter. And then we got fear because we're losing money. It's not working the way we have. And then we have desperation, panic, capitulation, the point of maximum financial opportunity because, we don't know if you're going to keep trading. I'm out, blah, blah, blah. We got some depression, hope, relief, and then we'll go back to optimism. So this is like when the SPY opens in one price, you see it, up and down, and then we have the SPY closing the same day at exactly the same, you know? So how do we deal with all of this? That's why you are in OOT. That's why we are together with a lot of people experiencing, this market together. And one of the amazing things of having a community like this, and specifically I love OOT, is you have the opportunity to have, certain amount of analysts that they can help you out calling some things that, remember, guys, we are not going to be right, 100%. We are just trying to predict moves based on, every analyst have a different background and a different view of how they like to trade and a different style. Sometimes we get wrong, yeah. And remember, the idea is how the average goes through the week, through the month. But you have a guide, then you have help from the staff, and more eyes and more heads help to have better ideas of the market. And sometimes even us, like, when I have someone like Norvin calling these names that I have no clue where where he gets them from. And I see like, oh, look at VST, look at this shit. And I start trading VST and making money. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad. And that Norman mentioned this to me. I have no clue. I mean, I get interested in new names and new things that I have no clue existed. So that's one of the big things about the community that we have here, and you have to take profit out of that. Even the optimism is below denial. How do we stay positive and above previous marks, aka safe? Well, listen, the optimism is because we're learning to do this and we're trying to do this for living. Sometimes people are doing this for fun. Some people are doing this out of curiosity. But for me, the key on trading is you need to always have the control of what you're doing. You need to know what you're using and the tools that you're using. And I believe overexposing yourself and not managing your size of the trades that you're doing, it's the most common mistake that we do. And right after that, over trading. Some people sit for 8 hours in front of the computer trying to see an opportunity in every candle that moves. And if you're red, even worse, because then when you're red, you're saying like, oh no, I can try to make this up. And then you go back again with $30 and then $30 more. Oh no, I can make, oh, this one looks better. Let me try on this one. And then you add up. And then out of maybe a loss that it was $30, you end up being $300 down. So over trading, it's one of your worst enemies. So you got to be careful with that. But optimism is when you have a plan, you know the tools you're using, and you're looking you're looking that the read that you did with the, educated guess that you're trying to make on the market, it's gonna work. Sometimes it doesn't. What happened? We just move to the next one. But I like it. I love trading, guys. I love it. I think it's incredibly exciting and amazing. And I love the technical analysis. And I love to see the charts, how they move, how to predict, how to watch the dynamics of knowing the market and being aware of everything that it's happening and how everything it's affecting, the different names and industries and sectors. I can talk about this the whole day, and I've been talking about this for the last, I don't know, 6 years, and I it's like nothing. I love it because there's something always new. There's something a new name. There's always a new ticker. There's always a new information about anything. So it's very. I like the how dynamic the market can be, but it's hard. You got to be deal with a lot of things. Yes, I used to have a problem with over trading, and I will go from wanting to make my losses back to making at least half of my losses back, and then we'll end up losing way more. Yeah, this is the common thing that most of us have experienced. We never listen to other traders when they say you have to be careful with over trading, but over trading can be your worst enemy because you can be you know how psychologically is that you close your account, like you close the day and you're $20 up and you're in it's green and you say like, oh damn it, I spent 5 hours and I'm $20. But if you are $100 down, you're gonna be thinking about those freaking $100 red for the next 4 hours. And you go to sleep and you're gonna be like, freak, I was $20 up. I could have just closed my day 20 green, and I ended up, $100. Where did everything went wrong? What happened? Why did I, kept on trading? And this goes on and on and on and on. That's terrible. That's, it's a nightmare. But sometimes that's where when you learn that, closing $20 up, it's better than closing, red. Doesn't matter what the amount is, but closing even at zero, it's amazing because you sleep well, you're okay. Next day you're fresh. But sometimes you are $100 up and you end up closing $20 down. Oh man, that's the nightmare begin. You're gonna have a long night for sure. Um, these are the psychology 7 keys to successful trading based on the market. On this is from Elm. I grabbed some of these charts and graphics from other well-known trading platforms and educational platforms. So we have, we have the role of the emotions. We have the psychology of the risk management. We have how to overcome the cognitive biases. We have development of a trading mindset, which is why we are all in OT and how we must help. Then how do we deal with trading losses? How the role of discipline and patience plays out on our everyday trading, and then how do we seek professional help? How do we see when do we need people who guide us and tell us, listen, I have no clue what I'm doing. I thought that I knew, but can you guide me? Can you teach me? Can you show me how it's done? How you've been successful in this? And that's where we play a role, and then that's where the community plays an incredible role here. So let's see, I have a question here. Let me see what the question was. Yes, I feel that I've done the same. Yep, absolutely, Husky. So here it's the trading hierarchy. That's what really matters in trading. So patience and emotions, look at how huge in this inverse pyramid is. You need to protect your emotional capital. You have to wait for the right entries and for the right exits. You have to avoid by any means revenge trading. Okay, I only have my port was $5,000. I freaking, I lost it all. I have $1,000 left. I'm just gonna put everything on these last 2 minutes on SPX to see if I make it up. You're gonna lose it. 80, 20, you're gonna lose it. Yeah, sometimes they might get lucky, but 80-20, you end up losing that $1,000 more. And maybe with that $1,000 and a little more patient and waiting for a better trade and controlling your emotions, you would have made back your whole $5,000. But hey, it's up to you. What do you decide to do? We need to be huge on risk management. How do we position and how do we are sizing our position? Are we managing our trade? That's another thing, guys. Sometimes when you're starting, even when you are an experienced trader, you have 20 positions open, and it's really hard to manage your positions when Tesla is going up and the market is coming down, and then Apple is going the other way. You end up losing instead of making more money just because you're trying to make too many things at the same time. Sometimes less, it's better. So you got to be very careful with that. Um, Sometimes you have the mentality of, I will make my losses tomorrow. Yeah, listen, sometimes the only thing that you need to do is, if I'm 20 bucks down, I'll see what happened and I'll try to do better tomorrow. If you lose again 20 bucks next day, you end, you stop and see what happened next day. And then if you have 3 days that you're closing red, you need to paper trade and see what's something that's not working for you. And you need to go to paper trade, try to figure out what's happening or ask for help. Remember, every time that you're red on a trade or anything, you can DM any of the analysts, anyone on the staff. We have so many resources on OOT. We have, help, trading help. We have analysts. We have staff. Um, we have the lectures. We have, there's so many people, and then in the community, there are incredible traders too that, I'll say even better with that some of the analysts. There are some people making a bunch of money and they're having fun and they're teaching us some things. So just ask, always ask for help, guys, always. And then at the end of the inverse pyramid, we have, technical analysis. I'm big on levels. Technical analysis for me, it's paramount. If you don't know where your levels are, you have no idea what you're doing. Doesn't matter if you have a lot of risk management, a lot of patience, you have no clue where to sell and where you need to get in or you need to get out, you're lost. And then market selection. Are you trading right at open? Are you trading for the second leg? Are you trading in the middle of the day when the volatility is the slowest? Do you know that? Like, why is not your contracts moving? All of those things are very important. So part of what we normally use is, we have to follow a trading plan. You need to know when you're wrong. You need to know, you have to have patience. We don't want to have a capital punishment. We don't want to lose money. Is sometimes taking breaks is amazing tool when you are, overwhelmed or you are, avoid over trading. Just take breaks, go eat something. You see, like I'm referencing Matt Phipps because we most of the time we're together on VC, but you see that he goes to eat after the first hour, and then he goes to eat, he comes back. Okay, what's happening? Where are we? And then you can just go and do something, and then just come back and see where we are. You don't need to be on watching without like you're watching a brain surgery. If you took your position and it's okay, and you set up your stop losses, it's gonna be fine. You have to learn from your losses. Excuse me. It's always nice to go back to your trades, if it's winning or losing trades, and see what happened. Where I get in, where do I get out? Did I maximize my RR? What indicators I was watching? Did I jump where I was using the Bollinger Band where I needed it, or did it bounce and I waited too much on the VWAP to get in? You can question yourself on all of those things to see if if you can correct anything and try to do it better next time. Are you managing your emotions? Are you embracing the risk? Yeah, I love it. sometimes when we're green on the day and we have, I don't know, let's say that we're $1,000 green, we don't care about losing maybe 50, $100, 10% and say, let's put it on an SPX and let's have some fun because it's been a stressful day and we made our quota for the day and that's it. So, that's fun. And always, 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 always use stop losses. Always, always. I don't know if you want to go through all of this, but I'm just going to go through the main titles because I don't want to bother you with a lot of, red tape on this, but you have to understand your advantage. There are certain things that you might be better watching or looking than others. And so you can, try to see if you're better at, technology. Maybe you have more interest on some, I don't know, let's say food, uh, names or anything like that. So you have to understand what your advantage is. You have to understand your system's performance. Do you have a system? Do you know where to get in, where to get out? How many, um, I'm not really successful in how many trades do you take per day? Do you take 4,000 trades or do you take two or do you take three? And if you're two red, you're done for the day. Is that working for you? It's not working for you. Do you need to change it? Are you prioritizing execution over the outcome? Sometimes we have only the P&L open and we're just caring about to see, am I getting to 500? Am I getting to 300 or whatever? Or did I nail that entry and I'm nailing this exit? And whatever P&L I have is just a consequence that I did a great trade with a great entry and a great exit. I don't care what the P&L is. I care that my trade was done flawlessly. And that's really important for our execution. Adhere to your blueprint and implement it consistently. So here's where we have the famous, plan your trade and trade your plan. Don't improvise, don't do anything foolish because every time you do something foolish and you click on that mouse, you're risking money. And every time you click, there is a fee that it's applying towards that, that trade. So are you adding how much fees are you paying at the end of the month? And how much you think you're making against how much are you paying to the brokerage? There's small things that sometimes we don't discuss about, but those things add up. And at the year, maybe you end up paying like $5,000 or $10,000 to the brokerage because you just overtraded too much. So is that efficient? No. You rather cut your day trades to less and then make more money for yourself. Do you maintain a uniform position sizing most of the times? Is the size that you're trading the size that you trade, or you change, randomly? You rely on signals. There are certain signals. Which signals are you looking for as your indicators? I like to see how my volume is moving. I like to see the MACD. I like to see the futures. I go to the ES and the NQ, and then from there I take where I'm trading. How do you rely on your signals and which signals are you using? Remember, at the end, everyone here is just predicting. We're trying to predict or how we call it, educated guess on what that specific name is going to do in the next couple of minutes. So the chances are 50-50 in everything that we say. Focus on what's happening and not what you think should be happening. No hope trading doesn't exist. We have to focus on what the price action is giving us and how are we going to trade that price action. I hope that if this thing goes up now, it's what the indicators are telling you, what the volume is telling you, what the price action is telling you. That's what we trade. That's what we do. The thing went up and then you 10x your trade. That you get luck. Sometimes we got luck. Sometimes we predicted that it was going to go up, but we never imagined that it was going to go this high. That's awesome. If you profit out of that, you're good. And then know your minimum risk and reward ratio. Always, try to go for that, 3-to-1. And that's the favorite ratio, 3 gains against 1 on the loss. So you're not overexposing yourself to a bad trade. If you go one versus one, that one versus one doesn't make any sense sometimes. So don't take that trade unless you have a lot of space for that reward. Recognize when you need to cut your losses. Sometimes we deny when we need to cut it. But we know that sometimes something inside you say, okay, I'm in too deep. Damn it. And trust me, sometimes it's just better to cut it. Just assume that loss and go to the next one. That's it. You'll make it up. And then your discipline shapes your trading future. Discipline, it's key. It's Trump here. And I encourage you to try to see how a day when you follow your discipline and your trading plan works against a day that you are maybe a little tired and you're just wandering at the computer, and then you take just some random trades because you heard someone saying it and you just blindly took it, and then you don't know where to exit and you don't have the level set. And you can compare those 2 days to see how they go. I know that this might sound boring, guys, sometimes, so this might sound like, okay, mom, yes, whatever. But these type of little things and these words like discipline, like, cut your losses, trade your plan, these words can shape the future of your port. And that's really something that I care about, how my port is going to do. This is an example that I lay out for you guys. I'm not going to go through it. We know these examples by heart. If you want to see it, you can look at it. I'm going to try to jump to some questions if you have any, and then try to go to some trades today, that things that we can avoid on the charts and things that where do we miss some opportunities today, and where should we be careful on enter some of the trades, and what else we can do on that, and some questions. Anyone have any questions until here? Please feel free. And I'm going to change the screens right here. 1 second. All right. So everyone can see my chart. Chart, okay? Yes, thank you, Husky. So here we go. DJT, guys. One nice trade today. I swung from last week some DJTs and I sold them right here. And of course, I kick in myself because the thing might go up higher, but I thought that I sold here at 400%. So this was incredible trade. Look what happened. I was waiting for this trade to break this trend. What happened here? Broke it, went below. Did I exit this trade right here? No. Why? Because out of the indicators that I was using, I had no need to get out. There's no indication that I needed to run away out here. So I left it because it was a swing. And I needed to see, this is my 100 daily SMA. I needed to see breaking this and going higher. And while we were on this level, we went up and I got out somewhere around this area. That was a trade that I won. So what is this? What I'm trying to tell you is, before I would have just, get out here and run away, or maybe cut my losses right here. Today that I'm more experienced and more mature, I will believe, I have more stomach to wait for the movement that I'm expecting to happen. So if I don't see any red, flag telling me that this is going to be a huge movement down and I need to touch any of my indicators, I will give some room and some air to my trades to let them run, and then try to make the most profit that I can. We have VST and SGs. Okay, let's see what do we got here. VST. Look at that trade. Look at this. This is where this is on Friday. Look at the bounce on the 20 daily SMA and look at how these bounce just propel this thing up. And it seems that it's gonna go keep on going higher. So if I go to the 4 hour, let's go to the 1 hour, see where we are. Look at this beauty of a bounce on these levels. That's why I like to have to use this. So what are we expecting here? That this thing is gonna probably, this level is not properly set here for my liking. I like this better, like this, I like this and that one. So I would like to see these Northern holding tomorrow out of this level here, and then try to see if it holds. We can see these highs again, somewhere around this area. But you see how it's touching and rejecting exactly the same 135.31 here. And then this became support and then we broke. So we got to see if this thing is going to just hold here and try to break it up and see any trade back to this block here, or are we going to reject? And if we reject, we might trade sideways for a little, or we got a gap to fill here. So I won't be surprised if if the market's not strong enough tomorrow or the previous or the rest of the week, we might see a beautiful trade down from 131 all the way to 122. So I'm going to keep my eye on this just in case. SG, Sweet Green. Sweet Green broke. Let's grab a little more time. I'm gonna grab 90 days on the 1 hour. Look at how this key level here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then at last we broke this level and we tried to hold it higher here. So we might start trading in this one. We need to hold above this level on the pre-market and try to see if we have a new sort of consolidation here for a new highs. That's all what I can see here. The volume was 2 million versus 200, so it looks pretty good on this one. I hope that you grabbed it somewhere around here or here. Yeah, that was a pretty good one. So let's talk about this one, guys. Tesla today. Tesla, check this out. What happened to Tesla today? So if we go to Tesla and we go to the 5 minutes, look at what the 5 minutes did on Tesla. So look at the levels. Look at how we flushed on Friday. Pre-market, flush. We touch 215.25, or as I like to say, this is the resistance of the 100 daily SMA. And what happened today? If you traded right at open and you were in puts, that was a beautiful trade. But I like this hold here, and then all of a sudden we broke. We retested it, and so my entry here in puts was here, not here. For me was on this retest and here, and then this is what I like. I like this bounce here and calls all the way back to this, it was almost where we started the day. And then consolidation all the way next. So my favorite part was this one here. Try to trade it here. So this is where it's I don't know what's going to happen here. We can go up or down. I have no clue. So for me, I rather just leave this to happen. Maybe try to grab them here, or just wait for the bounce. And while I don't want to grab them here because we're not gonna snipe it. But if I see this and holding this other level here, my entry would have been here in Tesla and then trade all the way back up until here. And then if I want to just leave runners, my runners are going to be sideways and whatever's going to happen next. So Tesla, I think, was a great example of how you need to be very careful on what's going to happen here. Even though we gap up, you see that we fill the gap right until here and then up, up, up again. So my expectations for tomorrow for Tesla, I need to see it holding above this 100 daily SMA for more upside. And if we go below, I'm going to trade the downside on Tesla. And that's as simple as I see my levels. And these are my levels here. You see how we rejected on the 20 daily SMA. This is the blue line here. We rejected, and then we flushed. And now we're trying to hold here. If we don't hold, it's going to keep flushing down. And that's how I'll see Tesla for tomorrow. What else do we have today? We have a crazy move on SPY. So let's go to SPY. Look at how we have, look at that move in SPY. Look at, guys. Look at how beautiful this is. We got the move here. Look, how many times do we bounce at 565? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Key one, we kind of consolidated with the daily 20 SMA, and from there we step up, step up, step up, step up, step up. Perfect chart. Just doing stepping up all the way up, and then today we have this huge gap up. Or not, it wasn't a gap, but push for new highs. This was amazing. I took SPY calls and I just rode them the whole day until the end of the day, and I sold my SPY calls here. I did not sell at the top. I sell when it was coming down till here for it was 150%, something like that. Easy, did not move, didn't do anything, never gave me a indication that I needed to get out of, because it was just touching my 50, my 50, my 50, my 50. I never needed to, panic or try to sell. If I see some movement down, I would have, cut or take my profits, but I took it right here, these touches here, and just, very careful, went out. So that's the type of trading that I like to do right nowadays. I could have just traded these scalp days with SPX, but hey, I grabbed it with SPY, and remember, we are new to all-time highs, so it's really scary to grab huge positions with SPX right here. It would have paid, yeah, but it's really easy to say that after the fact. So the safest trade was SPY for me, and just ride it the whole day. The other trade I had DJT, and then the other trade that I had today was no, I have Morgan Stanley today. Continuation of my JPM. I got out of my JPM, and look at this Morgan Stanley consolidation. Look at one, like here is, this should be here, and then wait, this should be here, and then now this should be here. So look at this consolidation here, like 1, 2, 3. This became a new support, broke up all the way high. Look at how we resisted, and again we are above the previous day high. And look at how this thing is pushing. So I still have some runners on Morgan Stanley. These banks are just insane, and I love to play them. If I wanted to go to the 5 minutes, look at how, if I'm only using the 50 SMA, touch of the 50 SMA, up, 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 and never touch it back until here, but never crossed it. So do I jump out? No. And then up, and then this is aftermarket, and it went right. They got bought up right again, and then it's on new highs. So beautiful position, calm. I don't need to go into each of these candles and try to go up, back, down, nothing. Just follow, it's as long as it's separated from my 50 SMA, I'm in. And that's it. That's how I swing. Let's see your questions. What does he mean by his 50? Okay. Mario, 50 is I don't know if you're using TOS or not, but you see here, this is my 50 SMA. That's this line here. It's the 50 simple moving average. And I use on every trade, and every analyst use different indicators have a reference of where are you trading. Normally, I'm gonna go for SPY when I have more levels. Normally, I have levels, which are price levels. They're fixed. So I don't buy, you see that mine are green or red. I set these up manually. I never get in unless I'm on top of one of my levels and push up, or normally on red ones, I go below, and on green ones I go up. So my green ones are support and my red ones are rejections. If I'm above a previous rejection, this becomes support, that like what happened here, and then I can go blind and try to see if I go up. But then we have dynamic indicators that, or levels that are going to help us to see where we need to go, where, like if I see a touch and a bounce here, that's encouraged me to grab calls. If I see that it's coming here and it's going to start breaking up, I will go out of my position because the trend, it's breaking, and now we're going into negative. So depending on how you use your indicators are going to tell you if you need to stay in a position or get out of that position. SMCI, call 50, you can call, yeah. I have to head out. Thank you, Empanada. Always enjoy your lectures. Thank you, Cookies. 50 daily simple moving average indicator. Yeah. And Mario, if anything, you can, if you are in TOS and you open your, here are my studies. You see, daily 50, my daily 100, my daily, I always use in my longer term analysis. I'll show you here on the 4 hours. I always use these lines. This is my 20 daily SMA. This is my 50 daily SMA, my 100 and my 200. And this is my 50 SMA and my 200 SMA. So these are just different indicators that depending the on the zoom in or zoom out that I'm using, it's gonna tell me something different that I need to watch. That's how it works. You can always find more lectures on the live lectures that are going to talk about the different indicators and how they're used. And if you need anything more questions on that, just DM me or any of the analysts, and you can see how these work. And there are so many, and they're so different. You see that I have the MACD here. It's another. This is a momentum indicator, and then this is my volume that you don't see it that much because I normally move it up or down and zoom in or zoom out depending of what I want to see. So this is just a brief on how do we trade with the psychology and why I use my levels and my indicators. So to trade really nice and quiet, and I don't have to choose and try to see and jump around on any of this. And sometimes trend lines are going to be our next best friend and when we trade things like this. So if I want to do something like this from here, touching the different points, I want to see that probably we're going to touch, I'm going to leave this for tomorrow and I'm going to post it in my tab tomorrow, and we'll see if we stay here and still go up or we go down. And from here, if I go down below this trend line anywhere here, we might see this flush all the way to this point again. And I'm going to take that trade 100% on the way down. But let's see how we respect these trend lines. Let's see what other questions. Oh, sorry, you can see the window, of course, sorry. Okay, Mario. Mario, trading on the phone, it could be very nice if you need to do something quick, but if you want to get serious, you need to trade on a computer. And the program that we use is called TOS from Charles Schwab, and it's called Think or Swim. It's a very complete and professional trading platform that it's very customizable, that you can do so many things that, help you to see it clearly what we're doing. I encourage you to go to a computer and download it and play around with the paper trade that you have there at the beginning. On the paper trade, you can set it up, see how it works, and then from there you can see where you take your trades and how it works, okay? All right, guys. Any more questions? We are at the time. Thank you so much for the company. I hope that it was useful for everyone that participated. And if you have any more questions, if you are struggling trading, if you have any other doubt or you want to share anything, please don't doubt on DM any of us, and we're here to help you and try to be your company along this journey. Okay, guys? Have a great night. See you tomorrow.